Hello, everyone. Happy Monday as you are watching this. The fall season is in full swing, and hopefully you can finally open up the windows, get some fresh air, turn off the air conditioning. Depends on where you are. I know people in the South now are even able to kind of do that and have to wear sweaters. So here in PA, I've been wearing a sweater for a couple weeks now. So hopefully you're enjoying the weather. If you hate the fall weather, I'm sorry. I really enjoy it. So kudos to me. So as you can see, we have a new guest this week. Kerry has been nice enough to join us this week to kind of talk about a few things, her transition out of the classroom and into a new field, what she's looking for in her next opportunity, everything like that. So Kerry, very appreciative of you being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what's motivating me this week? And I've talked about it a few weeks, and it's kind of getting scary because this doesn't really happen. But Philadelphia sports are like still succeeding. I'm waiting for the eventual like collapse of all of my teams that I'm so used to seeing. But so far, everyone is still kind of moving along in a positive direction. We'll see what's happened. I probably jinxed the entire weekend here moving forward, and come Monday when you're actually watching this, you'll be like, what is he talking about? Philly just had a terrible weekend. So if that happens, you can blame me. But for now, I'm still enjoying the ride. So that's motivating me. The next thing as the end of October comes up, that means Halloween. My daughter, who is 3 now, had the opportunity to choose multiple costumes this year at the store. So just because she's attending a few different parties, and we didn't want to be those parents that like have her in the same costume. And not that it's a big deal, but someday she'd look back and be like, why were you guys so cheap? So being able to send her to parties and have the different costumes, and this is like her first big Halloween party as a 3-year-old. So having her attend that is going to be a cool moment for us. She probably won't remember it, won't care, but my wife and I will be excited to snap the pics and everything like that. And the last thing motivating me for the week ahead is like once every 4 months we're able to get a babysitter, and this coming Wednesday we have a sitter who's going to come watch, so my wife and I can go out and do trivia night. It's a Halloween film trivia, so her than me, but we both watch the movies a lot, so she's very much looking forward to spending a kid-free night, and to connect with some friends and talk horror movies, fun stuff. So the week ahead, what's going on for me professionally this week? So last week I had posed a question on LinkedIn, and I'm kind of following up with that in terms of job boards. What are some good job boards besides the main ones that everyone focuses on that you like to visit for either your job searching opportunities, for your candidate search, what works best for you. So I got some good feedback on that. So at this point, I would want to do some research, see what each one has to offer, and see if there's anything that we can pursue as a company moving forward. And then the other thing to focus on as a recruiter is always interviewing, right? So making sure I'm packing my schedule with interviews. I have a few open positions now, a few new positions that I'm working on as well. So making sure that the candidate pool is always constantly in motion. And then my win from the week ahead or week past is I was able to fill one of my open roles. So anytime I can take one off my plate and then immediately get another one back onto it. But story for another day. So still being able to close out some roles, bringing some awesome talent into the company is always a good thing for me. So that's what I have going on this week. Kerry, what is going on in your world this week?
Well, my three things motivating me. Fun fact about me, well, one of many is I actually coach All-Star Cheer. And so we just got our music for our routine, some of our routines in our gym. And so it was really exciting last night, revealing the songs that the kids will be doing their routines to. So that was really fun to watch their reactions. And so now we just have to clean up our routines now that we have our music. So
Yeah.
that was really cool last night. I have some meetings set up next week. Just, you know, this is kind of something that I'm really excited about, is helping people with their LinkedIn profiles. So it's really it's motivating to me because I really love helping people so much. And so I'm working on getting those set up for next week.
Mhm.
And then another thing for me, tomorrow is my friend's annual Halloween party that she has. It's very fun. And I don't have a costume because I am not a big Halloween person. Normally, I know people go all out with costumes. I am not one of those people, so I will just pick one out of the package and throw it on most likely.
Got
So,
it.
but I love getting like kind of like you said that adult time. My kids are a little older, but it's nice to have that adult time for
Yeah,
sure. So,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure. So yeah, I'm kind of the same way with costumes, like Jim from The Office. Like the least amount of work I can do into a costume is what I will put forth. So that's why I'd like to
Yeah.
dress my daughter up more because she's more photogenic. She appreciates it more. I don't want to have
Oh yeah.
really anything
Yeah.
to do with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I had reached out to you and we had discussed you joining the show was because, like me, you had transitioned from education into recruiting, and that does seem currently to be kind of one of those things that a lot of educators are looking towards, is terms of a new job field. It's recruiting, it's customer success, it's project management. Those are like the big
Yeah.
three. So when you were looking to make the transition, for me, I just kind of fell into it. Is that what happened for you, or did you kind of know like, this might be something that I could look into if I'm getting out of the classroom?
It was kind of a mixture of both. I have my actually I have a master's degree in educational administration, so I actually have a school principal license.
Okay.
And so I had started doing a lot of like interning and stuff for that. And I just didn't, the part about it that I loved was interviewing teachers and just being like on the other side of the table.
Mhm.
And so that's when I went to start a degree in HR. And that was kind of my start. The way I transitioned into it was through real estate. I ran a really successful team. Every day was recruiting. I had to manage a team of talent. I had to do trainings and cultures and culture fit and all that kind of stuff. But really, it was kind of that was my pathway to transitioning into recruiting solely. But as I started getting into it when I was still in education, I realized, I really think I enjoy this. I just enjoy giving people opportunities and helping people find their path. So, yeah.
Okay. So outside of the interviewing then, because this is a question that I'll get a lot from teachers that want to make the transition, is what are some of the skills that you found that you were readily able to use that you brought with you as an educator when you transitioned into recruiting?
Oh man, well, managing people. I mean, if you think about it as a recruiter, you have candidates that you have to manage in a system, and so managing that. Hiring managers, you can kind of think of as kind of the same parallel as a school principal. You have to kind of talk to them about what they're looking for when they come into your classroom, how they want your kids to perform, things like that. And it's kind of really parallel in that way. So for me, I managed a classroom extremely well. I was very skilled at that. And so managing people and being able to just kind of, there's a lot of balls in the air a lot of times that you have to like try to catch all at once. And for me, I just was very good at that multitasking, and just the people skills aspect too of recruiting is something that a lot of people overlook in terms, if you're applying for a recruiting job, I feel that a lot of hiring managers overlook that people skills aspect of it.
Absolutely.
You have to be personable and be able to talk to people to be a recruiter. So teachers definitely have that skill.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So, those that follow you have seen your posts, and kind of as you're looking for your next opportunity, you're talking about the hiring processes and what other companies can do to make the hiring process a lot easier on the candidates right now. So, as you go through this and transition into that new opportunity, what are some things you're looking for, not just in that aspect, but ideal company that you're going to join next? What are you looking for in terms of fit there?
Well, I posted about this yesterday. I had a wonderful experience so far with Cox Enterprises. I'm, really if it's not that role, something similar to where they really, and I actually had multiple people from Cox comment on my post and
Nice.
say that was their exact experience as well.
Yeah,
So I'm not an anomaly. And so being in a company that values the candidate experience for me is number one, because that's something that I value. In a previous role I had, and I had it to where I felt that I needed to apologize to the candidates because the hiring managers were very, at times, indecisive and, would just drag the process out. And I just need to be somewhere that is mindful of the process, mindful of people's time. Like, having 10 different interview rounds, or having, and then the other side of that being like, well, we'll get back to you in 2 weeks with the next step. It's, you can't keep good candidates in that way. You just can't. So my next role, I want to be somewhere that values that and also has lots of opportunities for growth, so I can continue to grow in my career. I want to be somewhere I could be long term and I don't have to worry about, being on the job market again.
sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So you mentioned this is one of your motivators. So I wanted to kind of ask without, you giving free advice or anything like that. But
that's fine.
for people that do come to you and ask for help with the LinkedIn profile, what can they expect from you, and how have you kind of used the app to your advantage from both aspects, as a recruiter and now as someone who's looking for their next opportunity?
Yeah, even as a recruiter, well, I am a recruiter, but even when I had employment and I was still, if I saw something that I thought somebody could do better, I would kind of, reach out to them and be like, hey, I can, if you want, I don't mind giving you a little bit of advice. In terms of profile, I will a lot of times, I had somebody that I helped last week and I kind of transformed her profile, helped her with ideas on what to post, and having a good headline, I think, is the first thing that is the most important. Because if somebody doesn't know what you do, like this particular person, which her profile looks great now, she owns a dog boarding business, but that's not the role that she was looking for. And
Mhm.
so her headline was saying that she was an owner at a dog boarding facility, or she does like Rover, and so that's her little business. And so it said she was an owner at dog boarding, place. And I said, well, you're looking for work as a scrum master, so that doesn't, as a recruiter, I understand both sides of it. So as a recruiter, I'm like, if I'm looking for a scrum master, I'm not going to talk to you because you own a dog boarding place. She goes, well, I don't, I just do Rover, that's my business. I'm like, but I'm looking for this. And then you need to highlight that. That's
Yeah.
what you need to have as your highlight for your headline. So that's my number one start there advice. And if anybody wants like a profile review, send me a message. I know I gave away some of my time for next week, so that's something that's motivating me and making me really excited to do that. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So then last thing, and this is something I ask everyone that joins the show here, is advice, so, and you can approach this from any angle that you want, as someone that was recruiting, as someone that, was transitioning from education to recruiting, or what have you. But is there a piece of advice that you got along the way that you feel was very beneficial to you, or something that you just yourself would offer to people looking to either transition to a new position, transition out of education? What would you say to them to kind of give them that boost, that motivation, as they start what's always an overwhelming journey when you're changing any job?
It is, yeah. I would say know your path, know where you want to go, and then find whatever resources you can to get there. So if you are looking to go from education to, I know a lot of people are customer success. I tell a lot of, I actually had a really enlightening, this was months ago, but I had a teacher on my thing, and I'm like, look, I'm happy to talk to you. And I did. And I asked her why customer success. She gave me her reasons. I said, okay, well, did you know that I'm recruiting for a position right now that's exactly the same as customer success? It's called client relationship manager. So my advice was to find out what other job titles there would be for that role and apply to those as well. Everybody's applying for customer success, but let's look at the like sales. You could have business development, BDR, SDR, account executive. There's a ton of different names that it can have. Know all your job titles that you can have and apply to all those different roles. And also, I got to add something else in there. And I made a post about this. It was very controversial. But I said, the remote work is kind of dying down a little bit.
Yep.
For whatever reason, don't need to go into it. A lot of companies are telling people they want them back in the office. You can have whatever opinion you have, it doesn't matter. But my advice is always going to be, if you have an opportunity to apply to a job that says on site, do the interview and ask them, would they be willing to, unless you want 100% remote, but ask them, would you be willing to do remote? Would you be willing to do hybrid? Could it be a flexible schedule? Ask those questions, because you never know what kind of opportunities you'll find.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great advice. I think that's something that's missed by a lot of people looking to transition because they're trying to get that flexible schedule, which teachers don't really have. So I understand it
No,
for
you
sure.
had to
But
be there at this time and you couldn't leave until this time. And
so
if you had a doctor's appointment during the day, forget it. You weren't going.
right, to go from having 5 minutes to yourself maybe a day to having, that flexibility is sometimes overwhelming too, which is what I try to
Mhm.
tell people is don't try to temper your expectations, because it does sound great if you're like, I get how much time to myself. It's a wonderful thing, but just try to be realistic with that as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
So if you are not already, make sure you're following Kerry. Reach out to her if you want to touch base with her about the LinkedIn profile thing. If you have any opportunities that fit what she's looking for in your next role, then be sure to reach out to her for that as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.